What it do? Oh yeah, it's real nice. Let's drop it. Got the long travel on the seat. Okay. Well, waiting for some people to get in here. Okay. Ooh, gotta pull up the live. Pause the live. Okay. What is up, everybody? Hope everybody had a good Sunday. And I am waiting for some people to get in here. What is happening? Tyler, Austin, Eddie, Salato, Waffles, Chris, Justin, Randy, Cameron. Just randomly decided to do a live stream. We've been doing yard work all day, and we're pretty good. I hadn't weed eaten since this year, period, because the meetup took up so much time. I had to put it off. But today, I weed eated, I think, for like 4 or 5 hours yesterday. Got it all done. Then we cut trees today, and I finished mowing my part. We section it off. My son mows so much, my wife mows so much, and then I finish it off. We mow about 8 acres. And it takes about, if you mow it straight without quitting, it takes about 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours, and 12 gallons of fuel to mow our entire yard. We do it 2 times a year. I actually been wanting to do, always wanting to do yard work. Much stuff we need to do on this property, and we don't use our property, so we need to use it. You know, like we've been wanting to build a chicken coop, and we built the bones of it. We just need to spend the money and get everything else. We have almost 15 acres. We got like 14.3 total, but most of it's woods. So we mow 8 or 9, maybe even 9 acres. I'm not sure, probably about 9 actually. But we only do it 2 times a month. It's not that bad actually. It sounds crazy, but I bet I mean, it's a lot more than most people mow, but I've had my mower for 5 years. I bought a John Deere Z930M, a big industrial mower, and it's I think we put I think we might have 300, maybe 350 hours on it. So I keep her tuned up real nice. Someone said, how long till we build our house? We're actually, hopefully, we're going to buy the plans in the next couple months, and Miss Redbeard has her plans. We just have to get the engineers to change some stuff, the designers or whatever, because every house plan we find, the garage, like you pull into the left side of the house, we need to pull into the right side. So we have to get the plans flipped and maybe some stuff changed, pay for those, and then hopefully in 4 months or so, we'll start the house build. And of course, it'll take 6 to 8 months, however long it takes, because we're subcontracting ourselves, so we'll have it built into the dry and everything, and then we'll do, like, we'll pay to get drywall done, but I'll do plumbing, wiring, insulation, floors, painting, and the kitchen and the bathroom fixtures and everything. We'll do that ourselves, so we'll save a ton of money, because houses are freaking high now. It blows my mind what a house goes for. You know, you hear old people like, I remember when stuff cost this much. I'm at that age where I remember when houses was affordable. But Aaron said we need a big tractor with a large mower. That's what my wife wanted me to get a tractor with a bush hog, but we actually borrowed a bush hog. It was only a 60-inch bush hog, and my mower's a 60-inch mower. And it actually, I thought, was slower than mowing it with our zero turn. So that's what made us buy the zero turn that we got. I think it would be nice in the field. We'd still have to mow the other side with a mower, because just how it's set up, it'd take forever on a tractor. But I think we'll eventually buy like a medium-sized tractor and a large bush hog, because we could knock our mowing down in half if we bush hog a field, you know, because it's just wide open field. It's bumpier than it looks, because our mower will mow at 13 miles per hour, but you can't mow at 13 miles per hour. You'll get beat off the mower. Getting a lot of questions here. So I'm going to try to answer some of them. Someone said we have beautiful property. I agree. I love our property. We could have sold it a while back and made a lot of money off of it, but I kept thinking, like, there's no way, you know, I could replace this property. Like, we have a view of the mountains almost 360 degrees around our house. You can see the whole mountain range. And then we had underground electric and internet ran underground. So everything's underground on our property to keep it real nice. And it's just an awesome setup. Like, it's not enough acreage to like really ride all day. You get bored with it, but it's awesome to test our stuff and then use, you know, like once we think it's good enough to take to the trails, then take stuff out. You know, I wouldn't really want more property, honestly, because the headache of keeping up with it and land taxes and stuff, which land taxes isn't bad in Sweetwater, but you know, in other places I'm sure it's real bad. But it's like the house we sold, the house we started this channel in. We sold it for like 180. The woman sold it a year later for like 240, and it was like, ooh, that sucked. So, someone asked if I've ever lived in Kokomo, Indiana. No, I've never lived out of Monroe County, Tennessee. Been here the rest of my life. Okay. So, oh, someone's asking about the 3D printer. I can't remember what that is. It's a cheaper one. It's nothing like I didn't want to spend a bunch of money and not know how much I was going to use it. I kept that thing running 24/7 when I first got it. It's a very, very fun little hobby to have. But I just got busy and quit using it, and now I got to relearn how to use the thing and I had to throw away all my filament. I didn't know you weren't supposed to leave your filament for your 3D printer out, so it drawed moisture and got crumbly. I still have some stuff, but I like some filament that isn't open, but I'd like to get a bigger, better 3D printer. That one, like I said, I paid like 120 bucks for that thing when I got it, and it was good. It did everything I needed to. It's just, you know, your limitations is on size of it, but again, I can't remember what it is. It was just something I found on Amazon, I think. Someone asked about the Harley go-kart. It's supposed to come back. The thing about the Harley cart is that was a paid-for build. That's not like me building something, so we don't want to finish it until the company that was paying for it, you know, goes to the next level, like pays for the next set of work for it. So that's why it hasn't been touched. It was actually under a tarp forever, a canopy thing, and then the storm ripped it off. So now it's in the weather, which doesn't, I mean, it does bug me, but we need to get that settled up and basically finish it. It needs a gas tank, oil tank, shifter made, brakes plumbed. I got to redo the steering because it was never correct. The steering rack mounting, and then tune the shocks in and stuff, panel it up. And that's pretty, I mean, it's the last bit of stuff takes the most time, you know, but so yeah. Someone's asking, they race a 225 RS class. How do you think people get away with making more power? Sealed engines with no modifications are allowed, but people are making 18 to 20 horsepower compared to 16, 17 horsepower stock. I highly doubt that 225 is making 16 or 17 horsepower stock. Probably about 12 or 13 horsepower. And to get 20 horsepower, you would tell the difference. To get to that kind of power, you're going to have a cam, you're going to have head work, bigger carb. You can't run the stock carbs on them. So I highly doubt they're making 18 to, you got to think, in my opinion, a max build on a, you know, small block engine, the max horsepower you can get out of a drivable engine is, I mean, the max to me is 25 horsepower on my dyno. So that means my 224 makes 19 and a half horsepower. So I think someone's pulling your chain on numbers because there's no way that 225 is making that kind of power as a sealed engine. That, you know, because you got to do some good cams and head work and stuff to really make them perform. So that's hard to say because your numbers are already kind of, you know, a little skewed, you know. So but I mean, head work, you don't have to open up the block to do head work. The head's not sealed on there. You can port it up and stuff. Again, I don't think, there's no way they're making that kind of power without opening up the block, or you would hear an 18 to 20 horsepower engine. You would hear a 16 to 17 horsepower engine. You could tell it's got a cam in it and a little thumper, you know. So I don't think I answered your question, but yeah. Love from Oklahoma. Any mini bike meetup scheduled? Most of our rides that we do are, I mean, we're on mini bikes more than 50% of the time. But We're the next meetup we're going to do in the fall. I'm going to try to do it more towards Florida. I'm not saying in Florida, but more south. Just because we've been doing them like in Kentucky, and we need to start finding fun trails that are good for everybody. Because that's another thing you got to think of. We can't just go to any trails. We used to go to Windrock. Windrock's so bad; it's so hard to find good trails that people can ride on. And where camp is to get to the trails is like a mile or two of a ride. So people are breaking before you can get to the trails. So that's the only thing we got to worry about is can people even make it to the trails, and then the trails that we have. That's why we love Wildcat is the trails are right there at camp. 5 minutes you're in the trails, you know. So someone's asked me pros and cons of everybody that's saying, hey, I appreciate it. I'm just answering questions. I'm not ignoring anybody. Billy, Corey, Nick, Nate, Eddie, all these people. Eddie, we do need more items on our website. It's just I've been so slam packed. It's so hard to get products out. Like I have so many products designed, ready to cut, but I'm always worried that I haven't tested stuff enough, and that's what keeps them held up. I don't want to sell something and then come out with version 2 that's better, and then people are stuck with version 1 and feel like, you know. So I try to make sure they're perfect. We have a jack shaft set up for the 780 CVT that's about to come out. We have the alternator brackets for big blocks. I can make an alternator bracket for a small block, but you lose so much power running the alternator. We'll run it on the dyno and see how much you lose. That'll be a good dyno video. I need to add that to my list, actually. Run a 212 with an alternator to see what is, okay. Alternator power loss. All right, we added that to the list. But so anyways, but yeah, we got more items coming out. Someone asked what the pros and cons are of the Coleman RSV, the B200 RSV. The downside is to it, you spend $1,000 on the bike. Let's say you bought it brand new, it's $1,000. And then, you know, I really think you should go with my lift kit. And there's even more stuff you can go on past my lift kit. We're about to do more stuff, like we're going to build aluminum gas tank, which people's already built the same style gas tank I want to build. It's not like I'm inventing something that isn't already out there. But we're going to sell them on our website soon. I'll probably end up having my buddy I'll cut them for him and he'll weld them, just to, because I don't I mean, between getting video content out and stuff, I have no time really. And so the downside is, even after you do the lift, the seat sets downhill and you just feel like it's a street cruiser that you're trying to make a trail bike out of. That's my honest opinion about it. So you can make it better by raising, like after my lift kit, you could put the taller shocks. I think the shocks I use are 12-inch maybe. You could use the 14 or the 16-inch shocks, but we haven't tested that to make sure that chain clears and everything, but we're doing that. That's what we're doing in the next couple of weeks. We brought back Minibike Mondays. So now, from now on, unless something happens random in the schedule, you'll get a Minibike Monday every week. Because I know people miss those, and we miss messing with mini bikes because they're easy to make content on. They're fun, and I have a lot of ideas to do some more stuff to the Coleman bikes, because that's what we was known for back in the day, was making the tandem mini bike, a trike out of it. You know, we did all these little fun projects, and we have even more. Someone's mad that I'm yapping about stuff. Why are you on the live stream, dude? We have tried Not Bob. We have did electric kit on the MB200. It's a mean son of a gun. It is a freaking mean bike. But so I guess someone's saying they had a problem on their mini bike. Yo man, big question. Why does my mini bike turn off and then turn on then stutters? It's most likely a fuel related problem. It just, like, if it's bogging, you know, if you go like full throttle and your bike bogs till it dies, it's lean. If it pops and backfires and stuff, it's rich. That's how you can, a quick, you know, kind of way you can tell where your tuning's at. And that's might be what it is. It could be your needle and seat. Your needle's a little trashed up and it's not letting enough fuel in. It could be filling the bowl up and then you're starting it and running it and it's drinking the bowl before it can replenish it. So yeah. So it's hot in this garage. I need to turn my AC down. So someone's asking about an old Wisconsin engine. I think it's Wisconsin. I've never heard of. I mean, I think I've heard of them, but I've never had have one around to mess with it. Uh, so I'm thinking about putting 10-inch rims on the Coleman RSV. Any ideas what problem I may come across during install? Um, I don't think you'd really. I think they would clear everything. I don't know if your front, you might have to. With my lift kit, it would help not to get into the fender, but I don't know what size tires you're trying to run, and I don't know if you're trying to run the 10-inch skinnier tires. And if that's the case, you're going to have to worry. The only thing you'll have to do is space out the brake rotor to match the original mounts for it. Cameron, I don't know. I don't mess with their stuff anymore, so I don't even know what they provide in that kit. We moved away from them a couple years ago. But someone said, why don't you turn the AC down? Well, I control it from my phone, and I'm doing a live stream on my phone. I mean, I can go out there and do it with the controls, but okay. You should build a node like V4 inline 2 Wisconsin engine. I don't know if it's supposed to be Wisconsin. I don't know. We just don't see those type of engines. And then to buy this weird engine that no one else can get, that's what I normally do, is stay away from stuff like that, because if people can't replicate it or working on it, then it's kind of just a view video for the time being, and then it dies over time. You know what I mean? Like Predators do good because people continuously buy Predators and get in and out of the go-kart world, so those videos keep our income going, you know. So that's the reason we stick with like more popular engines, because people are always going to be looking them up. And you have to, I mean, this is a business at the end of the day. We have to look at how we can make a return on this stuff. You know, I know people hate to see ads and stuff, but it's just the nature of the beast. Like if we want to have a business and do this full time, that's what we have to do. NOS kit on the road to horsepower on a built 420. We actually got a bunch of the 6 Sigmund NOS kits off Amazon. We had them send us out like a bunch of kits and a bunch of bottles. We need to run those soon. We'll do that too. I'll add that to, I mean, I've been meaning to do it forever, but it won't be a big block at first, because we need to test the big block a little bit more on my dyno, make sure my dyno can even handle it. I might have to get a secondary flywheel. Someone's saying, is a GX390 worth building? They're good. I mean, they're just as good as anything else big block. I mean, a Predator is just as good as a 390 in my opinion. People can argue and say it's a Honda, it's better. It's still, at the end of the day, they're the same quality engines, honestly. I mean, there's some cheaper engines out there, but when it comes to Predator, they're about the same. Someone said, have I ever built a 346 cc Predator? I didn't know there was a 346. So no, I have not. Again, I don't know. Someone said more 420 videos. That's what we're working on too. We need to test our dyno with it soon, and with the 420 to make sure it can handle it and do everything nice. And if not, then we need to spend the money to buy the extra flywheel, which is very expensive. It's like $3,000. And then I got to build a secondary dyno cart that rolls beside of this one, and you can couple the 2 axles together to run the secondary flywheel, basically. And then you got to change your settings in your dyno to make sure you're reading correctly and stuff like that. So we're doing a head video very soon. I was talking to EC about it the other day. We're going to do like a big head test to really break down where the best place of an engine is to spend your time and money, and most likely it's going to be the head. I mean, your cam has a lot to do with it, but again, if you have a crappy head, the cam's not going to do as much as it can. So really it's a combination of head and cam, but head more so than the cam. So what we're going to do is build a, you know, whatever stage 3 engine, whatever you want to call it. And so basically we're going to do a stock non-Hemi Predator head, ported and not ported. We're going to have both of them. Then the next episode will be like a Hemi Predator head, ported and not ported, and just dyno it, same build on the engine, same cam and everything. We're going to go through all these engines, the Shredder head, the Wildcat head, the Wildcat Hemi head, and again, non-Hemi and Hemi Predator head, and also the Ducar head, which is the Tillotson, the Ghost and stuff. So we have that coming up. That's going to be a huge video series on the road to horsepower. Show your bicep. It's too big. It'll fill the frame up. Aaron J answered the question. I think someone might have been. Okay. about the 459 Predator. When it came out, we was excited about it, and then but then it very quickly died down because we talked to ARC. They was like, there's no way we're supporting this engine without crank bearings. They put pressurized oil in the crank, but not the rod. It was very stupid design with Harbor Freight. All they had to do was a little bit more machining, and it could have had a pressurized oil system on the rod. It makes no sense why you'd have one and not the other, because it's better off having no pressurized oil system, having bearings in the block. So that being said, it's a different flywheel, a different rod, I'm pretty sure, and stuff, and no one's going to spend that money because it's like 10 grand to build a billet rod to get all the stuff. You know, it takes a lot of companies' time, and if at the end of the day, then they'd have to do a flywheel, and it's not much better than building a 460 out of a 440 or a 460 out of a 390. You know what I mean? Like so anyways, what shampoo do you use? I use a bar of soap on my beard and my head. But I appreciate it, Jeff, for the donation. He said he loves the live chats. And even now we seem to be learning. Thank you. Jeff was the guy that got the Deuce. He's got it up in Oregon, and he's taking it apart to powder coat, like do the final touches and powder coat that thing. So thank you, Jeff, for your donation. We appreciate it. Seems like a lot of interest. So someone keeps talking about the 346. I haven't even seen it. Let's pull this hog up. $346. I've never even heard of it. I mean, is it an old engine? I don't see anything about it. Like, it's not on Harbor Freight. There it is. I think it's an old engine. I don't think it's still sold. 340, yeah, they made it. I have no clue. I guess it's like a 301 or something. I have never seen that engine before. It looks like they don't, I mean, it's just something they don't make. I'm assuming it's close to a 301. Oh, okay, so someone's saying it's an older engine, most likely. Aaron's saying it's a old engine. Okay, all right. So yeah, it's an old engine. So I wouldn't probably mess with it, honestly. Sorry if I'm laid back, I'm like a lazy time. But so we have a lot of dyno. So this week the 223 stage 4 comes out, and then the week after the 240 stage 4 comes out. Week after that, the 240 like stage 5, I guess you'd call it, comes out. And then week after that, we have a Ghost Stroker 227 build for a certain person. It's a special collaboration. After that, we have Lonnie's billet head engine coming back, bigger and better than ever. It's a 236 now instead of a 225. It has an even better cam and valve setup in it, and it's going to make a lot of horsepower. So that's coming back. And then, like, we have a dyno video coming out every week for the next 3 or 4 months. So stay tuned. And we have a mini bike video hopefully coming out every week for the next several weeks. So we have a bunch of stuff, and then we're going to continue on with our buggy builds. Like Lonnie's buggy is I mean, it's basically done, but it needs a couple little odds and ends things. But Steve's asking, do we make a lowering kit for the Coleman BK200 or any upgrades? I think is the BK the go-kart? No, what is the BK200? I can't even remember. Coleman. What was the BK? Why don't you want to lower it? Why don't you want to lower that hog for it? It's basically a candy spider, so anything for a candy spider will work on that. That son of a gun. What's your opinion or options? But I'm sure he meant opinions on $200 125cc pitback motors. Are they worth buying? They're pretty good, but you can make more power and more usability out of a Predator. But they're good engines. Like if you want gears, yeah. We've been wanting to test a 190 4-valve motor with a big cooler on it and stuff on a mini bike, and compare it to like a fully built Predator, because it makes more power than a fully built Predator. They're kind of expensive, but if you compare the price of a fully built, motor and stuff, it's very close. So yeah. Put this guy in timeout, 24 hours. What a loser. So, are you Irish? I have no clue. Never checked. Have no clue. So we are going to turbo a 212, even though I don't think it'll ever really make any power. But people really want to see it, so we're going to dyno test the turbo kit on a 212. And also, I have a Volkswagen smog pump supercharger, which is extremely rare to find. But we have one. And so yeah, that's coming out as well in the dyno videos. Need to make sure that's in my list, even though I know it in my head. Turbo kit supercharger. All right, someone said Walt Wheelbug calipers will be offering with the spindle kit. I can't remember what they're called. They're what we used on the Yamaha buggy when we built the Yamaha Yerf Dog. They're the same ones. That's what we're going to offer with our kits. Someone says I have a Coleman CT200U EX that he bought. Blew up the engine. I replaced it with a Predator 212 for the time until I can find a better engine. Any tips? Not really. I mean, those are pretty straightforward bikes. You can put any engine on them. But yeah, the 200EXs are bad about pushing the front, like collapsing the front end in turns. I don't know if it's just the geometry of the bike or the way they set. I'm not sure, but we never liked the EXs because of that reason. You would like try to race them and go into a turn, and instead of like powering through the turn, it wanted to push the nose of the bike into the ground. So we wrecked them a lot because of that, and that's why we moved away from the Coleman stuff. But we're going to redo some Coleman stuff because people are still driving them. And, you know, it's like people are, like when we're at meetup, 50% of people are on Coleman bikes, and we kind of left those people behind, you know, when we started moving on to suspension bikes. So that's why we're going more. So that's how we're going to basically like start our mini bikes Mondays back off, is doing the stuff that people have, not because we want to do them. It's because you guys have them and we want to help you guys out, basically. Someone's saying they want to put two 420s in an S10 and daily drive it. I would rather go with a V-twin. Same price. You can have a 670 with pressurized oil, and you'll get more power out of a single 670 than you would two 420s anyways, or the same, but it would be easier. So I'd just go with that. I was thinking of pro charging my engine, but it's expensive. Is it worth the price? If you're talking about a go-kart engine, no, it's not worth the price. I think you could build a naturally aspirated engine that would be less headache and stuff, and probably outperform like a supercharged 212 or something. If you could find a supercharger, which we found one small enough that's, you know, the right size for it, but I still think it's not going to be crazy great compared to a built engine. Someone also said you made spacers for the Coleman B200 RSV for the Megamoto 2 12-inch front shocks. How does this bring it up 2 inches? So what we sell is the front spacers, which drops the forks 2 inches, so that raises the front 2 inches. Then in the rear we make an engine riser that if you buy the shocks off Amazon, you can put taller shocks in the rear location and raise the back up. And the reason we make an engine riser is because it helps the chain not get into the frame. Now the last thing we did was extended the rear swing arm. It's 2 inches, I think, 3 inches, something like that, to make it, because it was a very short bike. It was wheelie happy in the woods once you get power on it. So then we extend the swing arm, and we want to make extended swing arms for it that are 2 inch longer. And then basically we're going to come out with a kit where you can buy the entire kit, or if you already bought the lift kit, you can buy pieces of the kit. And basically you can build like the ultimate bike out of it. But it still is going to suck because you're going to have more money than a Trailmaster, and you can just buy a Trailmaster and put a few parts on it and have less money in it, is the downside to the Coleman B200 RSV. But if you already have the bike, maybe found it on Facebook or something, that's when it's more worth it. But I can't say much about the Coleman, like if I recommend it. Right now I don't, but if we get this lift kit and stuff worked out and it handles good, then I would recommend it. But as it sits right now as a woods bike, I don't. As a As a road bike, I think it's pretty good, like a cruiser and stuff, neighborhood cruiser and stuff. It is. East Side, I was just mentioning we got a dyno video coming out every week for the next 3 months. So stay tuned. One comes out this Thursday, maybe even Monday. I might put it out tomorrow. The Wildcat 223, because it's technically a mini bike video because we ride a mini bike a little bit in it. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. Had a Predator 670 with a Mikuni 32 flat side. One cylinder is pig rich and other cylinders extremely lean. Have you had the similar experience? No, I've never had that happen. Normally they're pretty consistent because you're feeding them through an equal length intake. And you know, I don't know, that seems very strange. It's like maybe you have something going on with one cylinder, with a valve spring or something. I would just check out the valve train and see what's going on. So Eastside saying, you know, like he likes our videos because our dyno numbers are correct. So if you remember the very first dyno video we ever did, we dynoed a stock 212 Predator and it said it made 9 horsepower. And I knew that was not right because a stock Predator does not make that. So I called the company that made our dyno and I was like, hey, I just dynoed a stock 6.5 horsepower engine and it made 9 horsepower. What's the deal with that? And he said, oh, so you don't want to inflate your numbers. That was his exact words on that phone call. And I was like, no, I want them to be as accurate as possible. He said, okay, well, right now, the way I ship my dynos, because the whole industry wants them this way, is they're 40% inflated. So all you have to do is go in and change the flywheel size to the correct size, because we have it inflated to make it think it's a heavier flywheel, because what it's doing is calculating how much power it takes to spin that flywheel with weight and stuff. It's just a big equation that it's doing. So when I went and changed the settings, then our engine made like what, I think it was like 6.6 or 6.7 horsepower. It was correct. He was like, yeah, when we used to make these, people said, hey, you got, my dyno isn't reading high enough. He said, well, it's reading accurate, but people didn't want that. So what people do in the industry, whether they know they're doing it or not, some people do, some people don't. I'm not saying everybody's trying to cheat everybody out there, but I knew about this problem before we got our dyno, because I have a friend that bought a dyno and ran into this problem because he wanted to make videos on performance parts and said that his dyno wasn't reading because everybody was claiming the Tilson 212E made 9 horsepower. It does not make 9 horsepower. It makes like 7 horsepower. It's basically just a little bit better than a 212 Predator, very tiny bit. And so when we got told that, I stopped saying the Predator, because we was told that the Tilson made 9 horsepower. We had no reason to believe otherwise when we got it. So we was like, this is a 9 horsepower engine. This is awesome. And you know, the placebo effect will mess with you. It's just like when you put a cold air intake on your car and you think your car is faster. It's really not faster, but you get that sound and stuff, so it makes you think that it was faster, you know. And my whole thing is, I'm not selling horsepower here with my dyno. I'm just trying to prove what these parts do, because that was the whole reason I got into this channel, was to prove this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, was to tell you guys what works, what don't work. And I know we worked with sponsors, but I never have shown you guys something that I wouldn't honestly own, you know, or use in my shop. So that's the reason, like, we try to keep our ads relatable. Like, that's why we use Blaster, Small Engine Warehouse, EC Carburetors, NR Racing, all these companies, because if we was just a hobbyist, we would still be using this stuff. That's why you don't see video game ads or mattress ads or stuff like that on our channel. We try to keep it relatable, and that's just you know, so you guys ain't seeing crap ads. So anyways, we found out the dyno was inflated. He told us to change the number on the flywheel. We ran it again. It made what it was supposed to make, you know. And so my dyno's accurate within 10%, plus or minus 10%. EC Carburetors has a dyno. Theirs is, he said mine reads a little higher than his, I think, but he said it's within the 10%, and that's what you can expect. So anyways, that's basically what has happened in the industry. Is people, you know, 2 horsepower sells better than 1 horsepower. And what happened was, people were saying they was selling a 30 horsepower 212. If you have a 30 horsepower 212, it's going to be running off methanol and all this stuff, or alcohol or something, and it's going to be a straight drag engine. It's going to have no drivability. You can't go woods ride it and stuff. It's going to be a race engine. And when I say race engine, I mean race engine where you can't put much time on it. You got to rebuild it, stuff like that. So I don't even know if you really, I mean, I think you probably could get the 30 horsepower, but again, it's a useless engine other than drag racing, you know. Um, so anyways, I went on that ramble just to say we've done a lot of work. We've talked to a lot of different people that own dynos and made sure our stuff was set up as accurate as we can. Because at the end of the day, I don't care if my engine makes 30 horsepower. I just care if it's reading accurate and I can see what the gains are between the parts and where the parts made the horsepower at. The road to horsepower really could be even longer videos, but I don't want to bore people. Like we could break down, if you look at dyno sheets, which I think I have one here, possibly. Come on. We got order papers from where people's orders. So, okay. So here's a dyno sheet of the, oh, I'm not going to show, I don't want to show this actually because this video is coming out this week. So anyways, if you look at my graph, when it comes on screen after the dyno run, look on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see a breakdown at what RPM it made, what horsepower and torque. So what I can do is go back with these print-offs and I can basically look at what the engine, where the engine made its power before this new part, whatever the part may be, cam, carb, head, whatever. And I can see where it improved all through the RPM band, not just the graph overall. And that's the beauty of it. So sometimes you can really break down further than what my videos are explaining to you guys. You can break it down on your own, because what I'm going to end up doing is somewhere's on our website, we're going to make kind of like a downloadable section where you can download the graphs that I've ran on my dyno, and it'll say what engine it's for, you know, and I'll try to start writing the temperature of the engine. We try to dyno run our engines around 180 to 190 degrees. So what I normally do is I'll put an engine on the dyno, I'll start it up, let it get up to temperature, and then I'll run it on a full run, and I'll collect that data, but I don't use that. I use the second run, because the second run, the engine's already not heat soaked, but went through a heat cycle and it's already warmed up where it's not too hot. And then I'll do it on the second run. I used to do 3 dyno runs and I'd take an average. That's not really necessary. It was more work on my end and just more running the dyno. You know, when we're doing dyno videos, they're long, drawn out videos. Like they take a lot of time. It takes about 2.5 days to film a dyno video fully. That's me working 9 to 10 hours a day. So a lot of that's editing, run the dyno, because you got to think I got to film the intro, then I got to do the parts install, and then what I do is I do the intro, I come in here and I edit that, and then I go back out. Once I know that was good, I don't have to remake an intro. Once I know the audio is good, I set everything the correct way, because I do make like a script that I got to read. You know, I got these scripts and stuff that I have to read to make sure I cover everything. And then once I do the intro, then I go back out and I edit the intro. I go back out and then I start filming the disassemble and the reassembly of the parts. And then I come back in here and I edit that portion to make sure I didn't miss anything or every shot was good. And this is not pre-recorded. I'm reading the chat, but I'm just explaining some stuff right now. Then it goes on the dyno. Then I film running it on the dyno. I don't hide anything. We've never blown up an engine. Trust me, if we blown up an engine, I would want that on camera and on the video for sure. So anyways, then, you know, we throw it on a Minibike after that. We run it and then we talk about it. And I edit it every step of the way. Like after I dyno it, I edit that portion. I go to the next portion. I film it, edit it. So yeah. So that's basically what all goes into it. It's a lot to make a video. Like I love making them though. They're fun to make. And this week I've been making 4 at one time. So I had to make 4 different intros. And, you know, and then I edit all 4 of those intros. I edit them one at a time because I set up the table. I take the thumbnail shot. It's just a lot. But it's fun though. It's really fun, especially when you're doing multiple videos, because it keeps you busy for a very long time. So someone's saying wanting to swap out their nylon cam for a steel one. I would definitely do that, because over time that's going to wear. I think it's a dumb part, period. Even on a pressure washer, I wouldn't want a plastic cam, because plastic's going to get brittle with oil over time. But so someone said, be honest, what's your favorite small block as far as quality and watt head? I honestly think the 240 is the only engine people should be messing with. The price you're getting and what you're getting for the price, you can't beat it. Basically, you could spend $1,000 all in all in the 240 and you could outdo anybody else's 212. I mean, if you build it right. So I think it's my favorite. And the head, I mean, as far as head go, any good size valve head, like Predators suck because they got small valves in them. And I wouldn't put the money in having someone put bigger valves when you can just buy a head that's like EC now selling the CNC ported head. That's going to be huge because you know it's ported correctly every single time. You're going to get consistency through the head. So if you have multiple engines, you know they're all going to flow great. And so I think the Wildcat head, it's very comparable to other people's heads, but I really like EC and what they're doing in the small block world. So I support EC, and that's why I like the Wildcat head. We can work with ARC, NR Racing, anybody. Like, we're not, back in the day, we was held to a certain company, and we didn't like that. And once we got away, we can do anybody we want to. So that's the reason now we've done some NR stuff. We're going to mess with big block clones. We've talked with them about using their parts. So I don't want to be biased in any way. I love EC and the parts they do. I love them as the people that they are and what their company represents. I just really like their company, and I really like working with them. So why wouldn't I focus most of my time on EC? Because the stuff they're doing behind the scenes, like, you guys are going to be blown away when you see what they're coming out with. So we're really excited to be working with them, but we also work with other people too. Okay, so let's see. Can I put cams in my Predator 224? Yeah, you can. Just don't buy the Hemi 224. There's a new Hemi 224, and no parts fit it. They changed everything about it. No rod fits it or anything. Is a port and head job the best way to make power with 212? It's one of the best ways. Other than a cam, that's one of the best ways. Even on a stock cam, you're going to make the most power by putting time into your head, for sure. And once you've ported it, then you can jump up to like bigger valves and stuff, and that's where you're going to go. But you don't want too big of stuff, you know, because you got to look at what you're doing with your engine. People want to build these all-out engines and then they're trail riding them. Are you spending the money in the right places to get the most out of a trail bike? That's what you have to ask yourself, and then kind of watch the road to horsepowers and see, you know, where is your money spent the best, basically. Now, I understand, you got to think, like, we're doing this for content, and so we're going to use all types of stuff. And I understand people don't have huge budgets. Trust me, if I was doing this on a hobby level, stuff would be completely different around here, obviously, because we have to do the best stuff we can, you know what I mean, and try to make the best content. So we're using a bunch of parts and stuff. But we understand everybody's on a budget, and someone might only have the money to put a stock 212 Predator on their bike. And if you do that, though, as soon as you are able to spend the money, any kind of money on like taking the governor out, putting heavier valve springs, rod and flywheel. You could even use a cheap cast aluminum flywheel, you know, to start off with. And because, again, I know people are on a budget, and once you get a good carb on there, port the head, and you're going to have a good little running engine. Even on a stock cam, you could still have a really good performing engine. So that's what I would personally do. Someone said, are you ever coming to Texas? We need to find somewhere we can do a meetup in Texas, because we haven't been there in years. So we'll try to work on that in the next year or so. It'd be pretty sweet to do like a mini bike meetup in Texas. We haul a bunch of mini bikes down there, have a good time. With an exhaust and cam, everything else stock, is it safe to run? I mean, if you're doing a cam, I would spend that money on a rod first, because you can't put a cam in it and then expect to rev the dog out of it and not blow a flywheel up or lock it up. It sucks. I know the money side sucks, but I would really spend the money on a rod and flywheel before I would go. Even the aluminum flywheel, that cast aluminum flywheel, is safer than the steel flywheel. So that's what I would say to you. They're saying you don't want to dump a bunch of money into it, but there's a correct way to do it. I mean, if you blow it up, you know, then you're going to be stuck with spending more money. That's what I say. I mean, just wait till you can afford to do it the right way, and do it on a budget. Like I said, just try to buy cheaper. We sell some used parts sometimes. Keep an eye on the website. We'll try to post it here soon. I got a bunch of parts I can actually put up for sale. Some rods that if you replace the rod bolts and bearings, you'd have a good rod for half the price. Stuff like that. Aaron J, I appreciate it. He said, your welding and fabrication skills have greatly improved. I know from experience, TIG welding aluminum and stainless is a pain. It is. I really think I was so intimidated by TIG welding aluminum. I think it's one of the easier things to TIG weld now. And I was so intimidated by it at first. But once you learn, but I had a good mentor that was telling me what I was doing wrong and stuff. It ain't like I did all this stuff on my own. I had really good people that I believe God placed in my life to allow me to be able to be successful. You know, I had, which I'm always like, you have to know people to get things done in life. And I have a lot of good people on my side that I've sourced out, and some's just randomly came into my life. So I really thank the people that's helped me get here as well. You know, like Chris Schmidt, the guy from Georgia, comes up and help me. I'd call him and be like, man, I'm TIG welding and it's doing this and this. And he would say, video call me real quick. And he'd be like, oh yeah, you need to do this or change your setting on your welder. He really walked me through that, and it was super handy. Nope, no trash can, no trash bag, no trash can. But someone said I'm having shifter issues with my Predator 420. It's grinding when I shift. How do I fix it? What are you shifting on that hog? I don't understand what you're shifting. We're in Tennessee. Someone asked if we was in Alabama. Good evening, sir. Build on a budget. Night. Tuck you in if I can, but I can't. Anyway, I can pay you to get this new Minibike engine I built running. Everything is brand new, put together, but stuck at this and can't get it running. I need a professional. JNC, email us at greg@rbgcarts.com. And we've been looking for people to do, back in the day when we did my $900 engine won't start subscriber engine. We want to do more of those. But we want to make sure it's people that really need it and things like that. Like, we're not just trying to give away a bunch of stuff. I mean, we love to, but we're limited, you know, on time and parts and stuff. So that I'll basically run you through some questions, and if we think it's the right one, we may do it for free for you to do a video. It just depends on. So email us, JNC. Email us, sir. Tanner, I normally don't answer him because I don't want to encourage kids to get into it, so I normally don't talk about it. It's a nasty habit. Shouldn't do it. I've been doing it since I was 12, but and I'm 30. I'll be 36 this year. I'm almost dead. But I'm knocking on the grave, baby. So someone said they got a Stage 2 Predator 212. They got a 26 millimeter Mikuni carb. It's bogging low to mid-range at wide open throttle to decrease my main jet, and it didn't fix it. I will tell you, those particular carbs are garbage the way they're tuned. That's too big of a carb, in my opinion, for a Stage 2 Predator. Should have like honestly, like a WC22 would work great on that. 26 is a big carb. I mean, you can tune it in and get it to run, but it's never going to be a super responsive engine. So I would say if it's bogging, then it's probably still too rich. I would just try to bog it till it dies, then check the plug. Like, don't let off of it, bog it until it dies all the way down, pull the plug, see if it's black, and just keep adjusting it like that. But I've had a lot of problems out of those carbs, for sure. We hated them. Randy's got me beat by 19 years. And that's Randy Travis, the country music star. Most of these people probably don't know who Randy Travis is. That was the radio when I was a children. That, Alan Jackson, that's all we listened to. So when I was a kid, I didn't know, because we only listened to our local radio station was WIVK. I did not know the radio played other, like, I didn't know the radio was like a TV. You could change the channel on it. Had no clue, because it was always on WIVK. And my friend one day, we were sitting in my mom's and dad's truck. He was like, oh, I'm going to change the radio station. I had no clue what he was talking about. And he changed it to a different station, and my mind was blown. I was like 8 years old at this time. I had no clue that you could put different radio stations on the radio, because we listened to the same country station every single day. Someone said, what's your opinion on the Blazer, Trailmaster Blazer 200EX go-kart? I think all those go-karts are great. They're really great because you can build them further in the future. And Small Engine Warehouse is about to get Trailmaster go-karts, which means we're going to do some awesome upgrade videos on the Trailmaster line of go-karts. I'm super pumped about that. And they're going to start having MB200, so they're going to come out with some cool parts. Randy, don't joke. We know you're the singer. Come on, man. Someone's saying, what's the WC carb? It's EC's version of a VM22 carb. But I can guarantee you'll put that WC22 on that engine and it'll run really good. As long as you're around the elevation as us, it'll run very good out of the box. Honestly, if I was, because we've had more people buy that carb because we've suggested and email us and be like, dude, this saved us so much time because we was having so much problem from the Amazon carbs and stuff. EC's done, it's not just jet changes they're doing a lot of blueprinting on these carbs and making them the best they can. Do they think the WC22 is the best carb? No, but that's what people want to buy and the price range they want to spend. So that's why they focus a lot of time on that WC22 carb. It's just called WC because it's their version of a, 22 millimeter carb or whatever. Are they 22? Yeah, I think they are. So anyways, my wife says it keeps freezing. Is anybody having the video freezing? Anybody out there? The video doing fine? I haven't heard anybody complain about it yet. Thank you, X Build Mark X. I appreciate the kind words, sir. Okay, building a Wildcat Ghostbuster soon. As soon as they drop and put in the stage 2 Juggernaut driver on my MB200, we'll also need to change the gearing to hit 60. If you're stock gearing, no, you can hit 60 the way it is. I like a 60 tooth on the rear instead of the 50, just because it gives you that low end grunt, but I don't know what you're trying to do. If you're road riding, the 50 on the rear is fine, and you should hit 60 as long as you got your engine tuned up real nice. It's the best way to get power out of a 224 motor. I'm going to get a flywheel, but I already have an exhaust, cam and head work. It's where you make your power, baby. Regular club car shift. I reach my hand in the back and shift, but it grinds gears. Do you think the clutch and belts are too tight? Okay. I'm thinking you're talking about driving reverse, I'm imagining. So yeah, it's probably you need to loosen up the belt a little bit. If you can move the engine back a hair, make the belt a little floppier than you'd want it, because those transmissions are finicky. If they have any load on them, then it wants to grind and shift, if that's what you're talking about. So yeah, someone said, I think I need to replace my router. I've had a router for 5 years, and she runs real hard, but it's like a $500 router, so it's gonna suck to replace that hog. But it's like we've been having internet problems for the last week or so. Not bad, but like what you guys are experiencing. Someone said, thank you, just got a new mini motor, got into the mini motor world, just got an MB200, wasn't for sure what cart to go with. Thank you for all the amazing mini bike upgrades videos. You are welcome. So I will walk you out here just because I normally do this when people are on live streams and show you some stuff that's that we're working on. Oh, got my chair lowered. So anywhoosies, we're building on these trailing arms for his buggy. We partnered with Sin Cut Sin during the meetup times and got that coming. We got some new Minibike tires and wheels and a full build on this Coleman CT200U. We haven't did one in a while, so we got one for my brother-in-law. He had one sitting in his barn, and we're building it. And then we have the Coleman in here. We're going to do some upgrades too, build the gas tank, lift it even further. We got my mini bike. It's for the dyno testing videos. We also got, I know people don't give a flying flip about e-bikes, but I think they're pretty cool. And we got this Happy Run dirt bike for my son. That's a video coming out soon. That thing actually rips. It's a sick little e-bike. It's 6,000 watts, pretty mean for an e-bike. Got the Wildcat 240 ready to dyno in the morning. It's set up, it's already ready to go. It is stage 4, should make a big power increase. And then we're doing a different rod, piston, and flywheel, as well as the PVL coil setup. So we're switching over to this ignition on like stage 4.5, stage 5. We also got a new flywheel. This hog, pretty sick, blacked out, really like it, real nice. And we got this, we're waiting on the rod to do the next dyno video for it. So we got this sick EC piston to go on the 240. Thing is really nice, got coated skirts and everything. That's gonna be cool. We got all that. We got this, and we'll flip the camera around real quick. Ooh, Miss Redbeard's blocking some people. We got my 224. We just took it off the bike. This son of a gun. I think something's hurt in it. It still makes good power, but it just don't feel like it used to. So we're gonna run it on the dyno, see what's up, take it apart, and do a fresh up on it. New rod bolts, new rod bearings, new rings if the piston's okay, if the jug's okay. If not, we'll put a new block on it. We're going to keep this thing pretty much the same. She's a good runner. She's a hoss. Tail still got all the dirt and grime on it. I think if we do have to replace the block, I'm going to get the block coated back like I used to, you know, when the Cerakoted black. We got Lonnie's engine back together. This is all new block with a 236cc stroker kit. Has that MoFlow head on it. We did even better rocker setup. We got some 1.4 EC rockers, and it's going to be a hoss. It's going to be a hoss. We got the table junked up. This is all the wiring stuff where I was getting Lonnie's buggy ready. So I haven't cleaned it up. Got crap laying everywhere. Our spindle kits are coming together. We got some laser cut spindle kits that we're about to build. This is V2 of them, a little bigger, a little longer spacing. These are almost like, once I R&D these bad boys, they'll be on the, hopefully on the website in the next month. That's my goal, really hard. So when asked about the prime welders, that's my TIG. Freaking love it. Got the new MIG waiting to be used over there. That's their big, what is it? I can't remember. It's like a, I can't remember the wattage on that hog. Then under here, I just need to finish wiring them. I have the new TIG because this is the TIG 225. And we got the new TIG 325 with the new water cooler. But I built this little cart to go under there because it's got a roof on it so stuff doesn't fall through the table. But I'm going to rebuild it wider to hold that new MIG and have my MIG and TIG under the table so I don't have to have these carts in my freaking way all the time. I'm out of space in here, guys. I'm like, I got hallways running through everywhere. Another engine build we got going on right now for a partner or a collaboration is we got this Ghost, and we've already built the insides. We're just waiting on a cam. It's got the side cover on it, but no cam in it. But it's 227 stroked out. It's got some real nice parts in it. That's going to get dynoed, tested, and sent to a guy in Florida. So that's going to be pretty sick. A little collab with a cool guy. Talking about supercharger, I've been building engines over here. This is the Volkswagen supercharger that is extremely hard to find. This was a smog pump on a Porsche, only available for like 1 or 2 years. Extremely hard to find. These are like worth around $2 grand now. We found one back in Texas back in the day at the swap meet, and we're going to put this on the 212 and have a mini roots blower on it. It's going to be freaking sick. And we got some stainless bins that we're going to make the intake out of stainless because aluminum in 1 inch is hard to find. So we're going to do it out of stainless. But yeah, we've been testing some CVT tuning on the 780s. Got all kinds of junk. We got a lot of videos coming. We got this crazy thing. No one ever guessed what this was for. That's going to wait till wintertime because that's a wintertime project. But it's almost done. And yes, Aaron, I do need that. That'd be sick. I just would have to make sure they're pressure tested so I don't leak any gas. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff. Got a lot of stuff coming out. Got a lot of equipment videos we're going to put out too, just show you guys the upgrades in the shop and stuff. But super pumped about where it's all going, and we have some really cool stuff coming out. So yeah, we thank everybody for watching. I know we've been going on for almost an hour now, and I think it's time to start winding down. So I appreciate everybody hanging out with us and, you know, just supporting the channel and stuff. Really appreciate all the questions. Everybody hanging out. We had over 100 people pretty consistently in here, so that's pretty sick. We'll try to do this every... Woo! Try to do this every Sunday if we can. And sometimes we just get sidetracked and don't realize what time it is. But would you design your own swing arm kit? Yes, we're supposed to. But yeah, so thank you guys. I hope everybody has a great week. Video coming out tomorrow and Thursday. So every week from now on, Mondays and Thursdays and Sundays for a while, expect a video. We're going to do 3 videos a week for the next like a month or 2 because we have some extra content. And Sundays is going to be the rides at the meetup. So those that want to see those rides, we have them coming out every Sunday. Crap, today's Sunday. I was supposed to put one out, didn't. My bad. But so next Sunday. But yeah, thank everybody. Have a great week, and good night. We love you guys, and thanks for the support. We love you, and God bless.